everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's YouTube Live. I wanted to talk to you all about how to cook SOS free. SOS stands for sugar, oil, and salt, or it could be salt, oil, and sugar. So those are the trifecta that make food taste really amazing, that give us a huge dopamine hit, that makes us keep going back for more. So when you adopt a whole food, plant-based, healthy diet, and you decide that you're going to go SOS free, that's kind of like a panic mode. Oh my gosh, how am I going to cook my food? And how is it going to taste good without those things? So I want to assure you that it can taste good. It does take a little bit of time for your brain to neuroadapt to the new flavors, or the flavor of your old favorites without the sugar, oil, and salt. And it can take anywhere from 30 to 90 days for people to finally feel like the food that's SOS free tastes good. So in the beginning, maybe you'll try some recipes that won't taste really great to you. And a month or 6 weeks or 12 weeks down the road, I encourage you to go back and try those recipes again, because once you've neuro-adapted, they might actually start tasting good to you. So keep that in mind. So Tom is joining me.
Hello.
Say hi.
Yeah, I'm here monitoring the chat stream on the channel, so feel free to ask a question as Tami's discussing all of these wonderful items here, and I will give her a nudge and get her attention, and we'll address your questions as we go.
That sounds great. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that all of my fruit or my vegetables over here are on screen so I can talk about those. Can they see them?
Yes, that whole, the first
Okay.
bowl is visible, the last one is not.
I'm just gonna move these things just to show you. So of course there's lots of dried herbs and seasonings that we can get that we will talk about. But first I want to talk about all the things that are fresh that a lot of times people forget. These add a tremendous amount of flavor to our food. So little spring onions or green onions, slice these up. I'll slice these up a couple times a week and put them in a container so that they're all ready to go. I'll wash them, go ahead and slice them, put them in a glass container that has one of those locking lids, put that in the fridge. These add a lot of flavor to the top of food, as does garlic. Don't forget about your garlic. So when you're sauteing vegetables, saute a little bit of garlic in there too. They're so delicious. If you're a garlic lover, I don't ever think you can have too much garlic. And little peppers, I love these sweet little bell peppers, and they've been having them at Costco, organic ones, as well as Trader Joe's, which is really wonderful. And of course the big peppers, I buy these red, green, yellow. I like them raw or cooked. They add a lot of flavor. They have a lot of vitamin C. Onions, red onions, white onions, yellow onions, whatever kind of onions you like. These too add a lot of flavor. We put the red ones, they're more mild. We love them in our salads. They make the salads taste incredible. I also like to slice them and saute them. Of course, we use them in soups, stews, and chili. Mushrooms, oh my gosh, that unami flavor, unami. I'm not sure how you say it.
I'm not going to try that.
You're not going to try it? Okay, well, I'll stick my neck out there. These add a really wonderful earthy flavor to soups, to sautés, to rice, quinoa, whatever you like. You can saute these. You can cut the stem off, clean out the gills, and you can put them in your air fryer. We have the Breville Smart Oven Air right behind me, and they're so delicious. You can stuff them with mashed potatoes. I have a video showing you how to make portobello mushrooms stuffed with my garlic mashed potatoes. They're incredible. They have so much flavor. They have that really meaty texture to them. Fresh herbs. Don't forget about fresh herbs. Oh my gosh. This is some basil that is so amazing. I also have cilantro here and Italian parsley and some mint. Oh my gosh. It's so fragrant. So you can take and chop up fresh herbs with your salads. You can sprinkle fresh herbs over the top of your cooked vegetables. You can do so many things with them. I like to add them to soups, but I like to add them at the end of the soup, because if I'm going to cook them, I just as well use the dry herbs, but they add a little punch of flavor at the end when you chop them up and sprinkle them over the top of something that you've already cooked. It makes them delicious. Did you have somebody have a question?
No, I'm having my own conversation over here.
Okay.
We're talking about sound.
Oh, okay. Well, you were looking at me, so I thought maybe you had something to say.
No, I'm just
Then
checking in
also-
with folks.
Okay, great. Lime juice and lemon juice. These are your friend. So the taste buds for salty and sour reside close together on the tongue. And so you can kind of trick them by using lime juice and lemon juice in your food to make it taste a little bit saltier. And that's a wonderful trick. So you can just cut these in half. I prefer fresh, but I'm not opposed to buying the bottled. In fact, I usually keep some on hand in case sometimes, the limes or the lemons don't give us as much juice as we would like. So I do keep some bottled on hand as a backup. But these will add a tremendous amount of flavor, and they'll add a little bit of saltiness, which is really nice. And so do some of the greens. So Swiss chard tastes pretty salty. Try some of the dark leafy greens cooked, and they will have just naturally a salty taste to them. So does celery. So you can dehydrate celery and grind it up like in a coffee mill, or if you have a spice grinder, and use that as a kind of a salt replacement. So tomatoes add so much flavor to things. Now I love to buy the little sugar plum, cherry, the little salad tomatoes, because they're pretty sweet, and they're good fresh, or they're good cut up and just tossed in with vegetables when I'm sauteing vegetables. Ginger root adds so much flavor. We love to use it for that Asian flair. It's so delicious. Peppers, there's a wide variety of peppers. Now, of course, living here in California, we have a huge variety of fresh peppers in our markets. These are jalapenos, there's serranos, there's all kinds that you can get. Now, these add a lot of flavor. You can make your own salsa, and you can use salsa instead of salt, because it's so fresh and adds a ton of flavor. So check out Tami's Easy Red Salsa recipe that I have on the blog, as well as salsa verde. It's delicious, so easy to make. You'll be amazed. You'll wonder why you ever bought it, because it's so easy to make it at home. Yes.
Just keep projecting your voice.
Oh, am I not
Yeah.
talking loud enough? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Here's
talk loud. I'm
what's-
used to having a microphone, and to do the live, we're not able because of the
iPhone 10,
iPhone?
the iPhones took away the plug-in jack that we used to use for our lapel mics, and so on the new iPhone, it does have a great camera and it's got good sound pickup, but it's not our
Okay, so
our
I'll
usual
try to
thing.
talk louder.
So this is a little bit different for us because technology kind of got ahead of the rest of the market. We have to sort that out yet. So we'll be moving to a software-based computer connected camera in the future, but we're making do today. So please bear with this, and we'll try our best to speak up.
Okay, so if you want something that really tastes salty as a salt substitute, this Benson's Table Tasty is the product that I have found that tastes the most like salt. And you can get it, we have it on our Amazon affiliate page. So if you go to amazon.com/shop/Nutmeg Notebook, you can find it there. And we love this. This is delicious. And this does taste the most like salt. So I buy it in this 1 pound bag. You can also get it in a small shaker container if you just want to buy a smaller amount to try it. Now, sometimes I'll put it in my purse. It has a little shaker, and it's Benson's table tasty. And sometimes I'll pop it in my purse and take it with me. And if we go on vacation, I for sure take this one with me. So if I'm going to have to order plain rice and steamed vegetables in a restaurant, I can doctor it up a little bit with the Benson's Table Tasty. So I use this as a replacement in my recipes for a recipe that calls for salt. I will use probably 2 times the amount of salt called for in the Table Tasty, and it's delicious. I like it on French fries. You can sprinkle it over your vegetables, use it in cooking. It's really tasty. Now you don't have to order something special. You can find things in your local grocery store. The Mrs. Dash, I love the garlic and herb. This is a seasoning that I like to use in my salad dressing, the creamy balsamic dressing. I use this one. They have a whole line of different flavors now. There's like a tomato basil, and there's a Mexican one, and this is available just at your regular grocery store.
That's one of my favorite ones for steamed vegetables. I do steamed vegetables in the Instant Pot, and I like to put a generous dose of Mrs. Dash on it.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I like that one better than you know what, the Table Tasty to me. I haven't used salt in a long time. It's
too salty.
It's Table Tasty. The salt substitute is too salty for me. So
that's funny.
I go with Mrs. Dash and this other one you've got coming up here.
Okay, so that's really good. The Kirkland. This is the organic no salt seasoning from Costco, the Kirkland brand. And as you can see, we really like it. We go through it. I like to sprinkle this just even on salads. So my chopped salad video that I have, I like to just chop my salad and sprinkle this on it. It makes it just taste really flavorful. I love it. From Trader Joe's, you can get the 21 Seasoning Salute. And this has a variety of flavors going on in it. Delicious on baked potatoes and vegetables. And I've also put it on my salad. It's really flavorful and good. And these things just help you not miss the salt. So, of course, shallots. This is Penzeys, and they have the dried shallots, which is really nice because a lot of times I buy the shallots and then I forget that I have them and they end up going rotten on me and I have to toss them. So these, you just reconstitute these. It's super easy. They're really delicious. I have to look here. Oh, this is salsa and pico. It's really tasty if you like Mexican food. What else do we have? The hot curry powder. We love Indian food, and so I use this a lot when I'm making dals and different Indian dishes because they have a lot of flavor and you don't miss the salt. Oh, the chipotle. I love the dried chipotle. I use this in cheese sauces and chili and soup. Oh, it's so good. So if you use some of these more potent seasonings, you'll get a real punch of flavor, which helps you not miss the salt. When you get used to eating salty foods, really, it just starts to mask the flavor of the food. And it's like the more salt you use, the more salt you need to kind of get that hit that you're getting from the salt. Now, this is a really lovely line of spices from Local Spicery. You can order these online. This is the gingerbread spice. I love it. It does taste like gingerbread. And I put it on my sweet potatoes. I'll heat those up in the Breville Smart Oven Air, sprinkle some of this on. Oh my gosh, so delicious. We have the cinnamon, and cinnamon has a component in it that just makes things taste sweet. And maybe part of it is we make an association mentally with the smell of cinnamon, you know, of something sweet. But a little sprinkle of cinnamon on a sweet potato is amazing. That all of a sudden it becomes dessert. Tom, which is the one that you like? Is it the Moroccan?
Was it a Greek one?
I think it's in the cover.
It's the one in front.
I didn't get it out.
Yeah, because it's
So there's
really...
a pepperoni that they have. This is great. You can saute some onions, mushrooms, and garlic, and then sprinkle the pepperoni on it. And then take and put that combination over a baked potato, and you will feel like you're having pizza. So delicious. This one. Okay, you show it to him.
It has Hestia Greek herb blend, all natural, hand blended. So I don't know how far you're holding. You open this jar and it's just a wonderful aroma comes out. And this is another one that I will use by itself because it's unique in flavor and very potent, very fresh vegetable or not vegetables, spices.
Yeah, so you can order
From the
these
spicery.
from local spicery. They have a website and they'll be happy to ship that to you. And we happen to see them at an event in Sacramento, and we're able to buy some things from them right there. Then this line of spices, the Spice Hunter, Sprouts, if you have a Sprouts near you, they carry this brand. You can also buy these on Amazon. I have some of them listed on our Amazon affiliate page, and you can get combinations. So if you're new to cooking and you don't know what spices all go together, buy some of these that come already blended for you. It makes it super easy, takes all the guesswork out of it, and makes it so fun. Try something new. Okay, this one is the fajita seasoning. That's good. This is one of my absolute favorites. This came from Trader Joe's. This is the Herbs de Provence. I use this in my hearty lentil stew. It is delicious. I love it. If a recipe calls for Italian, a lot of times I'll substitute this seasoning instead. I just really like it. It's super flavorful. It is thyme, marjoram, savory, rosemary, basil, sage, and a little bit of lavender, which is like unusual, but it's so tasty in it. We love Mexican food. That must come from living here in California because it's everywhere. And cumin is one of my favorites. So the ground cumin. I also like the whole seeds to use in cooking. Now sometimes I will take the cumin and this ground powder, jalapeno powder, and I will sprinkle this combo on my chopped salads because I love Mexican flavor. So we do have this listed on our Amazon page, this jalapeno powder. What's great about it is you don't have to worry about, is the pepper hot that I bought today, or is the jalapeno pepper I bought mild? You can figure out what amount is good for you to use, and it takes all the guesswork out. And then if you have a recipe that calls for a jalapeno and you don't have a fresh one, you can still make that recipe using the jalapeno powder. You can dehydrate your own jalapenos and turn those into a powder if you want to make your own. And then chili powder. We love chili powder too. So those are some of our favorites.
For my chopped salads, I love to put quite a bit of the cumin on there and a little bit of this, and then I stack it with some of the sweet heat vinegar, and that makes for a pretty lively, not too lively, just lively enough, very fully flavored.
Yeah, we'll get to the vinegars. And then the crushed red chili pepper flakes. If you're missing hot, this is a nice substitute. I like this in Italian food as well as Southwest Mexican. It just tastes good. Does anybody have any questions yet, Tom?
Oh, we've just been talking a lot of people are liking the spicery, and these are a recent find for us. So what? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the local
Just
spicery.
several months ago.
Yeah, those we're fairly new to those. So I order from them. I order from Penzies, and then of course we shop locally and buy a lot of spices locally. So
yeah, we've been talking about salads and stuff here. So the conversation did come up, and this is a common question. About getting the salads in the containers that we use on our batch cooking salads videos to make it last the whole week. And ours does. Maybe at the 8th or 9th day, the romaine's starting to get a little bit of brown on the ends. I eat it anyway. But
once in a while we have them last that long. Usually we don't go past 7 days.
'Cause
But
we ate
if
them.
one of us for some reason doesn't get a salad eaten, then we might have them a little bit
But having the
longer.
ingredients dry when you put them into the containers and
That makes a world of difference. So if you haven't watched the salad videos, we have 2 of them. One is how to make the chopped salad. The other is how to easily batch prep. And we have YouTube videos and blog posts on those. So see those to see exactly I show you exactly how I make them.
And the batch prepped ones are kept very generic, just the vegetables, no flavorings and stuff, because we want to be able to take it one way or another with this abundance of choices here right at mealtime. So.
Right. And we don't put wet ingredients in there. So cucumbers, cut up tomatoes, beets, things like that, we don't put in there. It's mostly broccoli, slaw, and the greens.
Tomatoes, carrots.
We do put the onions because the onions don't seem to go bad.
Yeah, and the cherry tomatoes are not cut; they're whole.
Right. Yeah. We sprinkle those on top. So
okay.
maybe you could slide the seasonings.
Are you done with this front tray?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe you could slide those.
Well, I'm gonna
out of the way.
I'm gonna be rude and come walk around in front of you guys and get this stuff out of Tammy's way.
That'd be great. That way they can see the vinegars. Perfect. Thank you. Then another thing that we use besides...
I don't know what's here. I don't know what that is.
Well, that's coming. Not yet, but that's coming. So we want to talk about vinegars because vinegars are something that we also use quite a bit of because they add a lot of flavor and they are naturally free of sodium. They do have natural sugar in them, but that natural sugar is coming from the grapes. You need to make sure when you purchase your vinegars that they don't have added sugar to them because some companies do. We really like the California Balsamic brand. It's a company here in Northern California. You can order online. They have excellent customer service and they have a flat rate shipping, which makes it very economical. So you could buddy up with a friend and place a big order and split the shipping. So they have some new flavors. The dill and mustard seed balsamic has quickly become a favorite. It's actually not going to be available until June, but I'm letting you know about it in advance. And you'll want to order this if you like mustard and dill. It's super delicious. Love it on my salads right now for spring. It's great over cooked asparagus, everything. Sweet Heat is another one of my favorites. And this is for the people who don't like a lot of heat. It has just a little tiny bit of heat. And the teriyaki is wonderful. I'm on a gluten-free diet because I have a gluten sensitivity. And this is a very nice substitute for teriyaki sauce for me. Nice little Asian flavor. Oh, the California Balsamic Gilroy garlic is amazing. Now, sometimes I like to combine a couple of flavors. So I might combine the garlic and the Sweet Heat or the garlic and the teriyaki. It's really fun to kind of mix them. And I accidentally did it one day because I have these smaller bottles that I take with me in my lunch. And I went to refill one and it was like, I don't remember what flavor, but let's say it was garlic and I ended up pouring in Sweet Heat into it. And I was like, oh, well, that'll be good. And I shook it up and it was delicious. So that started a whole trend then of me kind of blending them together.
Yeah.
The lemon is also super delicious. It's really light. This is a white balsamic and the lemon is so delicious. Yes, you were going to say.
Has Thomas from California Balsamic ever said anything about, in some parts of the world there's a concern about lead in vinegar?
I haven't had that conversation with him, but they have a phone number listed, so feel free to call and talk to them. I will tell you that the balsamic vinegar that he uses as the base for these comes from Italy. In order to be a balsamic vinegar,
It's from Modena.
Yeah, it has to come from Modena, Italy, in order to be a real balsamic. So that is where the vinegar comes from. It's not made with California grapes because I know there's been some concern about the lead content in California grapes and California wines. So, but you could call him and talk to him about that.
They most likely had that question, but this is like, so far as original source, it's like the global global cradle of balsamic
Yeah.
vinegar, it's about as real of a thing as it can get.
Yeah,
so.
because he orders it from Italy by the barrels, and then when he gets it, then he flavors them with lots of different, herbs and different things.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, and then the blazing habanero is another favorite. I don't know if you can see or not, but it actually has the habanero seeds in it. This is for the people who like something hot. It's really delicious.
I actually don't use that one.
It's too hot for you. So you don't have to do a specialty vinegar. There's good vinegars that are available at health food stores and Whole Foods. So this is one of our favorites also. This is the Napa Valley Naturals Grand Reserve. So what sets these vinegars, including this one, apart is these balsamics are low acid balsamics. They only have 4% acidity. The regular vinegars that you're buying have 6%. They're also thicker and more syrupy. They've been reduced, and so the sugar content does go up. It makes them sweeter, but a lot of times people who normally don't like vinegar like the balsamic vinegars, especially these low acid ones, because they're very sweet. So this one you can get at Whole Foods. When we were there the other day, we saw they had a huge quantity of them on the shelf, and it's just under $10, and it has very much the same flavor as these, except it's not, you don't get the specialty flavors. So, but it's very good and reduced and sweet and thick and syrupy. Then we also like this one from Costco. This is just a regular balsamic. This is not reduced balsamic. It's just a regular balsamic. This is the one that I use in my creamy balsamic dressing because it works great in that. I put a couple of dates in that dressing, so I don't need to use the more expensive reduced vinegars for that dressing. I just use this one, and this is very economical. This is the Kirkland one from Costco, and we like it just fine. In fact, I like this if I'm doing like a Buddha bowl with rice and steamed greens and some beans. I like just a splash of this because I don't want it to be sweet, so I'll just use a splash of the regular vinegar. Now also with the California Balsamics, he has a variety of sizes. So these are the big size of bottles, and then there are the 3-ounce ones that are great for taking in your lunch or traveling with. In fact, we just did a video yesterday that'll be coming out soon, and I show you my lunchbox. My lunchbox has a special holder that these fit in just perfect. So this isn't, you can get this size.
Yeah, Anita.
Yes.
From here in town, says that Sprouts has this one, the Napa Valley, for $6.49 on sale right now.
Oh, nice, because when we
it's
were
like
there,
$10 at Whole
yeah,
Foods.
well, we were there last week and looked, and they didn't have any of this on the shelf. So if they have it now and it's on sale, that's the time to
Hopefully
go and
that's
stock up.
nationwide for everyone.
And then this is the barbecue smoked balsamic, delicious. Tom had this on a sweet potato the other day. So if you're missing that barbecue smoky flavor, that's a great one. And we don't have an affiliation with California Balsamic. We just really like Thomas, the owner of the company. Him and his wife are running the business, and they're doing a great job, and we love his product. That's why we promote him. And he has a special deal. So when you go on to his website and place an order, doesn't matter how many things you order, if you put Nutmeg Notebook in the leave us a comment section at the checkout, he will send you 2 trial size bottles, and you can also leave in the comments what flavor you want to try, and he'll send you 2 flavors of these little trial size. So it's a great company. They have a wide variety of vinegars. Just remember, this one won't be available until June. He just sent me a bottle ahead with my last order so I could try it and give him some feedback, and I love it. It's great. So that's the vinegars. Oh, on the seasonings, I forgot to show you The smoked paprika. I love the smoked paprika. I use this in my cheese sauce. I use it in a lot of recipes. It has that smokiness to it. It gives a depth of flavor. I just love it. Our daughter does not like it, so whenever I'm cooking something that she's going to eat, I have to leave it out. Then the organic kelp granules. This is wonderful to get a little bit of iodine and also to give a little bit of a little seafood, fishy flavor to some ingredients. So like a stir fry, I like it in a stir fry. Or if I'm trying to make like a mock tuna with some garbanzo beans, this gives it that little bit of kind of a fishy flavor that I really like. Now this I buy in the Asian aisle at Whole Foods. I've also seen it at the health food store. Yes.
There was a question that I was holding about stir fry, and it's back up the screen a little bit here. I'm trying to find it, but stir frying without oil maybe was the question.
Okay, sure. So let me talk to you about that.
Since you brought up stir fry, I thought I'd
Yes,
put that in.
let me move some things out of the way. Tom said I can't stand up because that messes up
No,
how
I
he
can
has
make those for you.
how he has the camera.
Are you
lined
done
up.
with the vinegars?
Yeah, I'm just gonna set them over to the side.
Okay.
How about that? That'll work. We'll just do this. Then I can talk to you about how to cook without oil. So
Yeah, here it is. I found it.
You did find
This is from Carol. What do you recommend for stir fries when you have to watch salt content?
okay, okay.
So it's about the seasoning too, if I'm understanding the
So
question.
read the question to me again.
What do you recommend for stir fries when you have to watch salt content?
Oh,
And for us, we have no salt content other than what's naturally in the products to begin with.
right. So we don't add anything that. Well, I can't say that because this has a little bit of sodium.
Yeah, that's soy, like with
Yeah, soy sauce, even the reduced sodium soy sauces are super loaded with salt. The lowest sodium thing that I have found that could work for stir fry is called coconut aminos. I have some in the pantry. I could have you grab it. I think it's on the bottom shelf in there. I don't use it for our cooking. We do keep it for our granddaughter because she likes a little bit of it on rice. It's a blue label right there next to the beans. So you could use this. I'm also gluten free, so that limits, I can't use the soy sauce. So this is the coconut aminos, but even this has 90 milligrams of sodium in 1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon?
In
Not
1 teaspoon, not even a tablespoon, in 1 teaspoon. Well, who's going to use 1 teaspoon in a stir fry? Usually the recipes call for about 1/4 of a cup. So, but this is like the lowest sodium flavored, something similar to soy sauce that I know of. So, and this you can get at health food stores, you can get it at Whole Foods in the Asian section. I don't recommend it for anyone who's trying to lose weight because it just has way too much sodium in it at 90 milligrams per teaspoon. So we will just do a stir fry with the vegetables. I'll add a lot of onion, a lot of garlic. I'll always start with a whole onion, saute a whole onion, and then we'll add garlic and ginger root and a little bit of vegetable broth, and we'll just leave out the soy sauce and just try to flavor it as much as I can with all the vegetables and ginger and garlic. So that's what we do. For broth, for sauteing, we either use water or we'll use broth. This is the lowest sodium broth I found. This still though has 35 milligrams in a cup. But if I'm using it in a soup, let's say, if the soup calls for 8 cups, maybe I'll use 4 cups of the broth and 4 cups of water. And it'll be, plenty flavorful just from all the vegetables that are in it. I think there's one brand, and I can't think of it right now, that is a no sodium added vegetable broth that also does not have oil or sugar. in it, but I can't remember the brand right now, but it was very expensive, like $4 a box, which is ridiculous. But you can make your own broth too. A lot of people save up their scraps when they're cutting vegetables, put it in a a freezer Ziploc bag, gallon size bag, and when it gets full, they throw it in their pressure cooker with 8 cups of water and make their own vegetable broth. I don't do that. I buy this, or I just use water. I just haven't gotten into the habit of saving all that stuff. Also, there is a no salt added mustard. This is the only one I've ever been able to find. It is available on Amazon, and it's also available at Sprouts, and I buy it at Sprouts. But I think if you buy it on Amazon, you have to buy like a case of it, but it has a long shelf life, and it tastes really, really good. Because if you look, there's a lot of hidden salt in condiments, especially. So you want to look at the labels. Is there another question?
No, I just was
Okay. Am I
listening.
talking loud enough? I
Yeah,
hope I'm talking
yeah,
loud enough.
I think we're doing fine on sound.
Okay, then I want to talk to you about something else that's sweet, because I know sweet is hard for people. It seems like the oil is a big one in the beginning, to give up oil. Everybody goes, oh my gosh, how do you saute without oil? But you can saute an onion, or you can saute garlic, or you can saute vegetables with a little bit of broth or water, and it works wonderful. Some people use maybe a little bit of apple juice or something like that if they're going for something a sweet flavor. The salt is trickier, it seems, to give up, because people are used to salting everything when they're cooking it and then again at the table. So if you absolutely have to have some salt initially, don't add it when you're cooking. Sprinkle it on just lightly at the table, because it'll be more stronger flavor.
More available to
Yes.
your first bite.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and it'll satisfy you more. So then the other thing is sweet, because everybody loves sweets. Now the desire for the high fat and the oil and even the salt dissipates. What doesn't ever seem to really completely go away is the desire for something sweet, but we have so many natural ways to satisfy that's very, very easy to overcome. One thing that we have discovered now that our palates have adjusted are how sweet potatoes are. So this is a garnet. We buy these in a big, I don't know, is it a 10-pound bag
Yeah.
from Costco? And we roast all of these in the oven. We do them all once a week, 400 degrees. We preheat the oven. We wash these with a vegetable brush. We put them on parchment lined baking sheets that are rimmed in case they ooze. We do not pierce the sweet potatoes. We do pierce like the Yukon Golds or russets when we roast those. The garnets and the Yukon Golds or the russets, we usually bake for an hour, and they're usually done. It just depends, sometimes you get these giant ones that will take a little bit longer. Then we like to do the Hannah yams, and you can see this has kind of a light beige skin to it. Inside, it's a creamy color. These become super sweet and delicious. I like these so much more than the garnet yams, but Tom really likes the garnet yams. I like these in soups and things, and I'll eat them.
Yeah,
plain.
the garnets I think they have a higher water content. They're a little less fibrous. They smush down easier.
Mhm.
So for me, the garnet is like a quick, sweet little snack, and then we also do roast them in the air fryer.
Mhm.
But the Hannahs and the JSPs are more fibrous, and so how much extra
So I
cooking
haven't
time?
talked about this yet.
Oh.
This is the JSP, or the Japanese sweet potato.
I love
This-
acronyms.
Yeah, acronyms are fun. Now this is purplish looking on the outside, and then it's creamy colored on the inside, and these are my absolute favorites because these are really, really sweet. They're sweeter than the Hannahs usually. So we scrub these, we put them on the prepared sheets, we bake them at 400 degrees for about an hour and 20 minutes, sometimes longer, it depends on how big they are. We do not pierce them. because if you pierce them, then all that wonderful juice inside will just ooze out. And the longer you bake these, the juicier and sweeter they become. So if you bake them and they're kind of dry, you didn't bake them long enough. So it's important to bake them long enough. Then what we like to do with all of this sweet potatoes and our regular potatoes is we batch cook those once a week, and then we put them in the refrigerator. We put them in containers where they're plastic containers that are open. We don't put a lid on them. We have them standing up so they don't squish. The weight of one doesn't squish the other, and then we can reheat them during the week for our meals. So we like to cut them in half and either flatten them with the palm of our hand, or I've started scoring mine, and then we put them in the Breville air fryer. We don't preheat the air fryer. We set it to 400 degrees. We put our sweet potatoes in there, set the timer for 20 minutes. When they come out, I love to sprinkle them with either cinnamon or the local spicery gingerbread mix. Sprinkle that over the top, and then
That's on our roster for
We're gonna do a
dedicated video.
oh, and then if we want to really gild the lily, we'll
What?
put a gild the lily.
Gild the lily.
Gild the lily. We'll put a little bit of California Balsamic, peach balsamic, which is one of the white ones. Just a little bit, because this is really, really sweet. And we'll just put a little bit of this, drizzle a little bit of that over the top of it. And that is one of the most delicious desserts. Oh my gosh. It's so amazing. Also on the blog is a recipe called How Sweet It Is, where you take the cooked Japanese sweet potato or the Hana, or it can even be the garnet. You slice it, put it in the bottom of a pan, and then you're putting bananas and apples and cinnamon on top and baking it. And that can be second breakfast or dessert, and everybody loves it. They don't even have to be plant-based. They'll love it. Then of course, fresh fruit. Oh my gosh, there's so much amazing fresh fruit that you can get. And the longer you eat what I would call a clean diet without salt, oil, and sugar, the more flavor everything seems to have, and especially fresh fruit. In fact, sometimes some of it can almost be too sweet, like a watermelon can just be like, whoa, it just tastes like you're eating sugar. But right now the berries are coming into season, so raspberries and blueberries and blackberries and strawberries, and they're so amazing and so flavorful. And the melons, we've had watermelon already, and cantaloupe and honeydew melon, and of course, apples. I mean, wherever you live, you can get apples and bananas and oranges, and you can get the seasonal fruit, and it is so delicious, and it will satisfy your sweet tooth. Now, if it doesn't initially, just know that the longer you eat clean, the better tasting food's going to be in its natural state. Now, the other thing that we use for sweet is bananas. So let me grab my bananas and show you. Now this is a small amount of bananas for us right now.
That's a small amount.
Yeah, people always ask, like, how many people are you feeding when we, go through the grocery line, or I post what we're eating online.
Those are mine.
Yeah, he really likes them when they get like this. Now, I don't like to eat them when they're in this state, but this is when I like to peel them and then put them in a Ziploc, a freezer bag, a gallon-sized freezer bag, and freeze them so that I can use them for cooking, because the more spotted they are, the more sweet they are. That's when all the sugars are really coming out in the bananas. Now, just to eat them out of hand, I prefer them like this, but let me show you what I do. Since my handy dandy freezer is right here, we'll take those. So when they get really sweet, this is what I do. I just peel them, pop them in the bag, and then put them in the freezer. And then I can use these to make all kinds of things. So these can go through the Yonana's machine, which makes, like, we call it banana nice cream, or you can make it in your food processor, or you can make it in a high-powered blender if you have like a Vitamix or a Blendtec. You just pop these back in so they don't fall out on me. And we like to take those and blend them with another fruit. One of our favorites is mango, or to do a little bit of cherry. And then if I have some roasted Japanese sweet potato or Hana yam, I'll take like a half a cup and put that in with it. And it just helps it be super creamy. It adds even a little more substance to it. And I guess it makes me feel better that I'm also getting some starch with that fruit. And it's so delicious. And you won't miss not having ice cream because it's so delicious. And I make it for people who don't eat like us, and they'll ask for seconds because it's so delicious. Now, I'll also use it. Tom, can you reach those?
Yeah, you know, the frozen dessert Tammy makes with the frozen fruits, in my mind, the taste in my mind now is so much better. Because when you eat it, it's creamy, it's smooth, and it's refreshing, and it doesn't leave the icky whatever that dairy products used to leave you with after you would get done.
Because the fat from it would
Yeah, and then you gotta go
and
drink a glass of hot water to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the fruit frozen desserts are so much more fun and tasty.
So I just made these this morning. These are the quinoa banana oat muffins. The recipe's on the blog, and we also made a video to show you how to make them. And these are made without any added sugar, no oil, and no salt. And what did we use? Bananas and applesauce, and that replaces the oil, and that replaces the sugar. And they're absolutely delicious. And every time our little granddaughter, Sweet Pea, comes over, she wants to make muffins with Lita. She calls me Lita. And we make these, and she loves them. Everybody loves these. They're not going to be light and tender crumb like a traditional muffin. They're very hearty, but they're so flavorful. We use the cinnamon from local spicery in them, and some cardamom, and of course freshly grated nutmeg, and they are to die for. They're so delicious, but they're healthy for you, and I can feel good about feeding these to my 3-year-old granddaughter.
So this one's an appetizer. Lunchtime's coming up. This one's my entree, and then that one could be dessert.
Yeah, right. You think you get 3 of those today? So, and we'll take and put those. You can put them back there if you want. We'll take and put those in the freezer. I'll put them in a container, a Tupperware container that I have that's for the freezer, and then we can just pop one out at a time and thaw it out and enjoy it with a cup of hot herbal tea.
That does make them last longer too. Not, you know, these are good for you in every way, but if they're just on the counter, it is too easy to grab them. But when she puts them in the freezer, you have to kind of like make a conscious decision that, oh, I wonder if we have muffins. Maybe I would like one. And then you go out and you get one, and you thaw one out and eat it. And so that actually makes them last longer because they just don't get unconsciously eaten.
That's
because
true.
we try to be conscious eaters and not unconscious eaters.
Right. So we don't eat a lot of baked goods because we strive every day to eat a lot of fresh produce. And so the fresh produce, because it's so full of water and fiber, it's very filling. So oftentimes I think, oh, tonight I'm going to make, nice cream, or maybe I'll make a little dessert for us. But we will be too full. By the time we get done with dinner, we usually don't have any room for dessert. So it's kind of good that it happens that way, because we haven't gotten into the habit of having to have dessert every night. We're perfectly happy with a little bowl of fresh fruit after we've had a really wonderful whole food, plant-based, SOS-free meal.
After we eat a pound of vegetables for lunch or a pound of salad plus add-ons for dinner, then there's typically not room for dessert.
No, there isn't.
Maybe
And
yes.
sometimes there isn't even room for the fruit, because when you eat starch, which we follow a starch-based diet, when you eat starch like potatoes or rice or winter squash or millet or quinoa, it's very filling, and it crowds out eating other things. So, which is a good thing. That's how we maintain our weight loss.
Question for you,
Yes.
from BC. Has your desire for sweet, or has your want of sweet gone down? She's commented that she's kind of lost her liking sweet things. I know that when I bite into something that is really too sweet, I get that zap of sweetness that on the first is out, nearly painful, and then on the second, third bite it settles down. But so I think I am more sensitive to strong sweet things that I just
Than you used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what has happened is it's like when you're eating a lot of things that are high in sugar, salt, oil, you have to keep increasing that in order to get the same dopamine hit. So it takes a lot more to make you go, woo, that was good. So when you stop having all of that, you become very sensitive to it. And I have lost my desire for eating a lot of sweet. Sometimes even the sweet potatoes can be a little too sweet, that just seems kind of weird. But so, I too have lost that desire to keep feeding that sweet monster in me. And so I know what you're saying. So I'm perfectly happy with fruit. A real treat for me a lot of times, because I don't eat a lot of bananas, is to eat one of these bananas. That's like, whoa. When I eat a banana, it's like, whoa, that was really sweet. Or fresh pineapple. Fresh pineapple is like so sweet. So it takes a little while to get to that point, but it doesn't take that long. It's amazing how adaptable we are. So the other thing I wanted to say is that another thing that you can use for making things sweet are some dates. These are the medjool dates. I buy these at Costco. I keep them in my freezer because we don't use them very often. I do use a couple in my creamy balsamic dressing, but you can use these when you're making something that you want it to be a little bit sweeter. Now, dried fruit has about 1,300 calories per pound on the calorie density chart, compared to natural fruit, which will have 200 to 300 calories. So you can see that dried fruit per pound. So there's a huge discrepancy, and that's because this doesn't have all of the water in it anymore, and it's a high concentration of sugar. It is natural sugar. It does still have some fiber in there and all the nutrients, but it's very, very calorie dense. So these are not optimal for weight loss. Maybe when you're on maintenance, you can have some, or if you use them in something that's a little more savory, it's going to have less of an impact on you. Like it's good in, Chef AJ has a red lentil chili that we use these in because it kind of combats the acidity of all of the tomato that's in that. So you can also get date syrup. Like we use a little bit of date syrup for our granddaughter for some things that she likes a little bit sweeter. I do use the dates. I have a dessert hummus, if you will, that I created just to be able to get some more beans in our granddaughter, and I use a little bit of dates in that and some apple juice to sweeten it enough for her that she will like dipping some fresh fruit in it. Any more questions, Tom? I'm gonna pop these back in the freezer.
Yeah, okay, what about cookies, chips, and cakes? Jen, do you mean potato chips? If you wouldn't take time to give me a chat on that, and then Tami can talk about cookies and cakes.
Yeah, we don't typically, I don't typically make like traditional cakes and cookies and things like that, just because we don't want to get in the habit of eating a lot of the sweets, and I don't eat flour, so unless it's something that can be made with steel cut oats or old fashioned oats, we don't make a lot of stuff
No,
like
there
that.
used to be those dehydrated
Cookies, I
old
haven't.
fashioned oats from the dehydrator. Those little dehydrated cookies.
Yeah.
Are those on the blog? I don't
No, those are Chef AJ's. That one is Chef
Chef
AJ's
AJ's.
recipe.
Okay.
So I just haven't had time to make the dehydrator stuff. There's a few things that I will make in the dehydrator, but you can do, like, if we were going to do cookies, it would be like the banana oat cookies, where you mash banana, add vanilla and cinnamon to it, and some oats, and if you can handle dried fruit, you can pop some raisins in there, or just some blueberries, some fresh blueberries or frozen blueberries, and then bake those. That makes like a little cookie. And then, like, I don't have a cake that I make that I can
Yeah.
think of. And then as far as chips go, we don't eat chips, but we'll make whatever. If we want something that's more crunchy, crispy, we'll use our air fryer, because the air fryer can mimic some of the fried things that you may have liked before, but without using oil. So look up my smashed, SMASHED, smashed potatoes. And we like those better than French fries. They're made without oil. They're made in an air fryer. I show you how to do it in the Breville Smart Oven Air, but you can do it in any type of air fryer. And that gives us the crispy crunch that we want. And
What about my corn tortillas? I know you don't
yeah,
eat
you
them.
can, yeah.
Yeah, I
Once
use.
in a while I'll eat them.
Yeah, I use the Mia Rancho, the ones that are this big around, corn tortillas, one ingredient, corn.
I think they have a little bit of gar gum in them, but
Okay, for body.
yeah.
But I will cut those into eighths so they make a nice little corn chip. I do not buy the chips from the store. Just the oil and the salt on those, it's just off the chart, and you can only taste salt and oil. So ours are much tastier. But we throw those in the Breville brand air fryer for 9 minutes at 375 degrees. It's a fine line between burnt and not burnt. So I took some experimenting to get to that in that particular air fryer. You can make them in any air fryer, but
And you can make them in the oven too, because
Yeah.
we used to make them in the oven. And sometimes I will want a tostada, so we'll buy the little individual, they're little corn tortillas that are about this big around, the Mio Rancho brand.
the little ones.
And we'll put those in the air fryer and make like a little tostada shell, and
Yeah.
then we'll put our refried beans and lettuce and salsa
Have you ever
on those.
experimented with sweet potato chips?
We haven't. So that would be something. I know that I saw a recipe where you could make those in the dehydrator, which would be really fun. And Chef AJ, in her unprocessed book, has a recipe for doing them in the oven to make nachos. So she just slices them. I don't remember what the temperature is, but that if you have Chef AJ's unprocessed book, I know that she has a recipe in there. And if you were to Google it, you would be able to find it, and then you could make chips. So I have a microwave gadget. Gosh, we haven't had that out in like 2 years. And so you would use a mandolin to thinly slice either sweet potatoes or like russets, and then it was a perforated little gadget that went in the microwave, and you microwaved them for so many minutes, and those came out crispy, just like a potato chip. I don't know if we have that on our Amazon page or not, but those worked pretty good. We just didn't do it a lot because it was a lot of work, to slice on the mandolin and to do one tray at a
You're
time.
talking about those those rubbery things?
Yeah,
No, I
that
don't.
had
I never liked those.
You didn't
they
like
were
them?
so much hassle and then what came out of them was so insubstantial.
Yeah, it was
So
a small amount. It was a lot of work for a small
Yeah,
amount,
I'm
and
not
you would
good
you'd get just enough to eat a handful, and then you'd have to do
Yeah.
another batch.
Yeah,
So
get better off just getting one of those
you might
those
get,
mesh racks and using your oven.
or do it in
or
an air fryer. We'll have to experiment and see if we can do some chips in the air fryer
Kind
using
of a
potatoes.
little bit thicker and
Yeah, that would be fun. So, any other questions? Good questions, you guys. It's fun when you stump us too. That's good.
I think we're caught up, and we are at 12 o'clock.
Okay, I hear
So-
the clock chiming in the background.
So,
So we did our hour. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope we gave you some ideas today. Kind of think out of the box. Be kind and gentle to yourself. Give yourself enough time to neuro adapt to the SOS free, and just know that the food that you tried in the beginning that didn't taste so good, after 30 days or 60 days, please go back and try some of those foods again or those recipes, because chances are they'll taste a whole lot better to you after you've neuro adapted. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you hop over to the blog at nutmegnotebook.com, we just put up this last week. We have 2 exclusive recipes that are just for subscribers. So if you go to Nutmeg Notebook, there's a subscribe box up at the top. You just fill that out, put your email in there, and immediately in your inbox, you will get 2 exclusive recipes from us that have not yet been published and won't be published on the blog. They're only for subscribers. Plus there's a little bonus recipe there for you as well. And that way you won't miss out on anything new that comes up on the blog. And we have some fun and exciting things that we're going to be doing in the coming months that we wouldn't want you to miss out on. And subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up if you liked this YouTube video. And we want to thank you for being here with us today. I'm Tami.
And I'm Tom.
And we
We
help
help
you get healthy,
and
stay healthy, one meal at a time. Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
you guys.